Hey guys, welcome back to Paneer and Pancakes, the podcast where I, Vaaruni Joshi, an Indian teen in the USA, share the highs and lows of high school life in dual cultures. So grab a snack, get comfy, and let's dive right in. So today's episode is a personal favorite, I'm not gonna lie. I love to plan. It's not even funny. Like, I probably plan too much for my own good, but it's so satisfying and it keeps me on track with like everything in my life. So if you don't know where to start or anything, like this episode is for you. And I'm not just like saying this, like I have been planning and I've been making like to-do lists, like the bare bones to-do list since I was in like first grade. Yeah, first grade. And I would make like little to-do lists on these like little notepads. Yeah, and then by third grade, I actually had like a nighttime routine. Like it wasn't like a nighttime like Gen Alpha influencer routine or anything, but it was like I had this little set of like Tinkerbell fairy figurines. Yeah, this is like bringing me back. And there's like 7 of them, right? There's Rosetta, she's red, Fawn's orange, Iridessa's yellow, Tinkerbell is green, Silver Mist was blue, she was my favorite, and then Video was purple, and Tink sister, what's her name? I always forget this. Basically, what I did, I had this like little like set, right? And I used to like switch them out at like night. Like I used to put a different one on my bedstand, like on my nightstand every single day next to my bed. So that was my nighttime routine. Like I would switch them out for like the next day. Wow, okay, this is like really, I completely forgot I did this. I had like blocked this out of my memory, but that's crazy. Yeah. So by like third grade, I was already like, making my own little thing. Yeah, and so I've actually been through so many different like planners and like online planners. Like it's like a whole like journey. Like I used a paper planner, 5th grade. It was really pretty. I remember it was like purple and it had like these pink flowers. Yeah, so I had like that, and like we had the school agendas too or whatever. um and then in 6th and 7th grade, I had this whole bullet journal phase. That was a journey. Oh my god. If you know, you know, I actually had the biggest obsession with those. Like, but they drain so much time from your day. Like, it's not even funny. I used to like sit and like work on it for like an hour every week, and I like did not like sure, okay. Um, and then also, actually, now that I think about it, in 6th grade, I also had like this whole like online to-do list thing that I just used for like school, because I was that was my online year because of the lockdown or whatever. So I used this like online thing called like Todoist, I think. Yeah, Todoist, and like that was like decent. Like I don't know, I basically just couldn't commit to it. Like I liked it, I just couldn't commit to it. So I just like used like both the bullet journal and like the online thing. So yeah. Oh, and I think 6th grade, yeah, 6th grade must have been when I started using my Google Calendar too. I mean, I didn't have anything to put on there because I just used it though. Because what did I need in 6th grade? What was I planning? Like, I have no idea, but I did plan something. So yeah, that my whole bullet journal and like Google Calendar duo phase lasted till 7th grade, and honestly by the end of 7th grade I was like over it. I was like, this is too much work. It's too high maintenance. I can't even do this right now. So the summer before 8th grade, I finally did it. I made the switch to online planning, and for me, like at the time, it was such a big deal because I used to like always be like, oh no, I'll never do online planning. Like that's such like a waste or what, something like that. I don't know. I was like, yeah. And then I finally did it. I switched over, and I have never regretted it. I have never thought maybe I should go back to paper planning. Never ever. Like I seriously doubt I'm gonna go back ever. So when I was like first like trying to decide like what I should switch to, I was thinking like maybe I should do like an app, right? And like I think I downloaded like one or two and like tried them out or whatever. I also tried using like that Todoist thing like full time, and I was like, this is not working out. Because everything I wanted was like structured in like a weird way. Like it was structured for like adults, right? Or like college kids, like people who have like way more on their plates. Like, and for me as like, what was I like going into 8th grade? What was I even doing in, yeah. Um, like I wanted something a little more like that could be actually used for me like as like a middle school student, because like that's crazy. Like I don't need like my work to-do list. Like what? Yeah. So I went back and forth a lot, and then finally I was like, you know what? Maybe I should just do it. Maybe I should just start Notion. And I had actually known about it for a while, like for a couple years, because I was always so interested, like, uh, in like watching like the bullet journal like tutorial videos on YouTube, and those like Notion videos would pop up and I would watch a couple, and I'd always be so intimidated. Like I would be horrified, like that mine would be like super ugly, not look anything like theirs. Like I just watched too many of them basically, and I just got like scared. But then finally I was like, you know what? Let's just do it. So I kind of jumped in like head first. I didn't really like watch any tutorials right before I started it. And then once I started it, I started like, you know, like once I had like kind of a blank slate, I kind of knew what I wanted to do. Then I started watching tutorials just to like elevate the whole thing. But yeah, I really did not like look back. Like I didn't question it that much. Like when I first was like, should I do it? Should I do it? And then I kind of was like, you know what, let's just do it. And then I just didn't like think about going back at all. And I seriously doubt I will, like at least for the near future, at least until the rest of high school, because right now like the combination I have going of like Notion, Google Calendar works so well for me. It's not even like funny. It is so good. But yeah, my Notion has actually evolved so much. Like when if you I mean I haven't saved like the previous versions. I just edited those, and I don't think you can get them back now because they started like the 30-day history or whatever. But it's changed so much. Like I still remember what it was like. Obviously it was like only like 2 years ago, but it looks so different. It was very at the very beginning it was so basic. It was I knew what I wanted to go for, but it was so basic. And since then I've added so many new pages and like updated it a lot. And I would honestly say like I was constantly changing it and constantly adapting it. And I think when I finally settled down, and this is gonna sound crazy, but I finally settled down and like kind of solidified it February of this year. Like the basic structure, sure, like didn't really change, but I kind of like finally like gave it a glow up and like settled on it and like settled on like the design and like the aesthetic and like exactly how I want it to be. And I really haven't changed anything since then. Like I obviously like edit it like as my weeks go by, and like I add like new weekly pages, which I'll explain in a minute. And obviously like I update like my assignments list and everything, but like the structure has not really changed. So yeah, like actually looking at it right now, like I'm looking at it, I literally have pulled up. I have a couple different pages. So I have like kind of like a home page, and it just like, you know, it's I don't really look at it that much if I'm being honest. So I kind of have it divided up in like sections of like my weekly planning, my like academic like school planning, then kind of like my like habit tracker and stuff. And yeah, and then I also have like a page kind of for like extracurriculars and like stuff like that. And then I kind of have like a brain dump that I have not opened in like I don't even know, like 6 months or something. Like I don't really have anything to put on there. But I have it anyway. And then I also have like kind of like a list of like archived things, like things that are like that I don't really use anymore, but that I don't want my main Notion, but I still want them. So yeah, I kind of have like my first like page that if you opened it to, that's like the favorited one or whatever, like it's what it opens to. It has like um all these little, if you like use Notion, you know what I'm talking about, there's like call outs, so it makes like little cute sections. So I have one of those, and I've labeled it my directory, which honestly I should probably change that because I don't even use that. But I've made it like a synced block, so it like it's like the same on every single one of the pages that you put it on. Like you don't have to copy and paste it; it's like the same one. It's actually really useful. And then that's what I was talking about in February, like when I kind of solidified my aesthetics. I went onto Canva and I kind of committed and I made like banners, like page banners for each of my pages. And again, like if you know what I'm talking about, like if you use Notion, like you know what I mean, like at the top. Yeah. So I'm gonna go to like my little weekly page and I'm gonna talk about that now. So basically I on my weekly page, so on each one of like my main subgroup like heading pages, I have the directory. And then I kind of have like whatever else is like relevant to that page. So like I have my cute little banner, and then I have like my past like years. So I use like the button function on Notion. Basically, I have a page for every one of the years I've done Notion. So 2022, 2023, and then my current one is 2024, obviously. And then in each of the year pages, I have all of the months, except for 2022, because I actually started in like July, obviously, because I was just telling you how I did it in the summer. Yeah. So, and then if you go into each one of the months, you have like each of the weeks. So then if you go into the week, I know this is so confusing, but it honestly is so helpful because right now I'm literally staring at my January 1st through 7th week of 2024. And I can literally tell you exactly what I did. Basically, I have my to-do list for that day. Like, it's not really a to-do list. It's not like really just a list. It's kind of like goes in like chronological order. So I will sometimes like go into it and like update it if like my plans change or something. I don't know why. I've just been doing it since I started, so now I just do it. Deal with it if you have an issue. But that weekly page, actually, that's like my most important page, I would argue, on my entire Notion. I use my weekly glance so much because I'll talk about this in a minute when I talk about my Google Calendar, but I transfer like all of my assignments onto that page. So at the beginning of every week, or on Sunday rather, because I start my weeks on Monday. So on Sundays, I sit down and I like create a new page, which honestly is not even that complicated because it'll automatically, like the layout that I use, like the template or whatever that I created, it just lays that out for me. So I just go in there and I just kind of put in like the basic structure of what my week's gonna look like any volunteering events, they go on there, and all this information comes from my Google Calendar because that's my holy grail, which again, I'll talk about this in a minute, which it'll probably make more sense then. So that's like my weekly glance page. And then I have like my academic, like my school page. This I have spent weeks. I spent weeks, months curating this page, okay? This is I'm so proud of this page. Okay, I'm more proud of this page than I am of anything else. It took me so long to figure out how I wanted to like organize and like deal with all my assignments. So basically, on my academics page, you go in, my study playlist is linked on there. I don't use it from there. I just go to my Spotify, but whatever. Yeah. And then I have a little archive section on that page specifically for my school stuff. So I have like a couple different pages like for years past that I've used. And basically in like 8th grade when I first started it, I used to put like all my like little like notes that like I made, like review guides or whatever, like for finals or midterms or whatever. I used to put those on there. And then starting last year, this is what I'm talking about. This, oh my God, the page that I made for freshman year, it took me, I have honed it and literally worked so hard to craft this specifically for me. I cannot even explain. I started this from scratch. And for the first like 3 months, I wouldn't say until like, not until like November of freshman year did I actually have this page set up exactly how I wanted it, because I didn't know how I wanted it yet. So on Notion, you can do these things called databases. So you can put the same data in different views or formats, like calendars, tables, lists, etc., etc. So I have mine in calendar view, obviously, because who doesn't love calendar view? Yeah. And then I had like different like tags. Like I would tag it for my math class and I would tag it for this class, whatever, right? And then I would also put like, is it homework or is it like a test? Is it like, I don't know, like a formative grade, like it's not like a big deal or whatever, right? And then I would also, what I ended up doing, I had like not started, in progress, finished, right? I was like adapting it for me as I went. And I also put like a bunch of different links to like all my like, I made like class pages. So for each class, like any like notes or like review stuff I made, like I would put those on there. So everything was linked on this one page. I just titled it 9th grade. Yeah. Basically when 9th grade finished and I was like thinking like, oh, like, did I like my Notion setup? Do I want to change it for next year? And I was thinking, and I was like, honestly, I honed it and I made it work so well for me that like, why would I change it? Like, I don't need to change it. Like, it's working fine. So when I was making my page for 10th grade, like a week before school started, and I was sitting there and I was making it, and I basically just made it the exact same. And like I just changed the name of the courses. The layout's the same. Like the way, the order in which you see the tags and the properties on the pages are the same. It literally, the only thing that's changed is the name of the page and the names of the courses. I've been yapping about this way too much, but I love this page way too much. Then I also have like a habit tracker page, which that's kind of self-explanatory. I have like drink water on there, like, okay, whatever. And then I also have like a little section where I put like highlights of the day, which I find really fun. Like at the end of the day, I'll sit down and be like, oh, what was fun today? Like, what did I enjoy doing today? It's kind of fun actually, because then I can like look back and be like, oh, on, I don't know, like October 18th, I did this. You know what? For fun, let's go look what I did last October 18th. Because I'm on the page right now. Why not? Okay, that was Wednesday, October 18th. Hold on, it's loading. Okay, I kid you not. It says the first thing, listening to Taylor Swift. This is not planned. I did not plan picking October 18th, but there you go. Now you know like what's important for me. Listening to Taylor Swift. Yeah. And then I have a page for like my extracurriculars. So I have like kind of like just stuff like anything I did for like different clubs, and like mostly I have like reminders because all the different clubs have different like hour requirements. So I basically have that on there. And then I have like, like volunteer hours, tracking those. Like that's kind of simple. And then I have my brain dump. So this is kind of like the last big section. On here, I basically don't have anything. I forgot I have some of this stuff on here. I have like, I have okay, so I'm kind of like an Apple like geek. I'm kind of like a nerd. I watch like WWDCs and everything, which are like the worldwide like developers conference like every summer, where they update like announce like all the new like iOS stuff and like all the different Mac OS stuff. So I have a little page on here, and I take notes on it, and then I tell all my family and friends everything that's coming, because like I've just started doing this for like a couple years now. I'll take all the notes so no one has to watch it, and I'll just go around and it'll be like, oh, so this is coming to the new iOS or whatever. Oh, and then on my archive page, yeah, on here, this is really funny. When I was planning my whole like Notion like revamp glow up back in February, I made a Notion page for it, and I made like a to-do list, and it literally says like how I wanted it to like be structured, because basically all I did was take all the like elements I already had and just put them and make them look cute. So yeah, that's basically my entire Notion. So that's a little peek into quite literally my entire lifeline. So basically, my Google Calendar, how I use it is that's my long-term planning. My Notion, like I just said, is only a week in advance, like for my entire like personal life. For all my school stuff, like that is actually like as soon as I get the due dates, it goes on both my Notion and on my Google Calendar. Just so I don't forget anything. It's on both places always. Everything is in two places because I do not trust myself. Yeah. So my Google Calendar also has evolved a lot. Like when I was using it back in like, I don't know, like even like 8th grade, it was different. Like I used to put all my assignments on there, but they would all just be under this one school calendar. Okay, so let me preface a little before I get into that. I have a couple calendars. I have like a personal calendar, which everyone gets when they have Google Calendar. Then I made one for like extracurriculars, and then I have one for like school. And I have a couple others, but they're not really important, like birthdays and holidays and whatever. So under the school one, I used to put like everything under the school one, but then all of them will look the same color. Like, you know what I mean? Like they all look the same color. So all my different assignments. So then I started like color coding them, and they're still in the same calendar, but they're just a different color because you can do that. I didn't know you could do that, but I found out. So this is your little tip. So then I color coded all of them, and these colors on my Google Calendar match up with the colors that I have on my Notion on my like academic page. And this is where I think maybe I am a little too psycho about this, but the colors that are on my Google Calendar match with the colors that are on my Notion, and those colors match with my folders for each class in real life. But it works really well. Like it honestly, like I look at yellow and I go, oh, AP World History, which is not a great color. It's so bright, and I always see like my AP World History due dates, but whatever, And then I have like green for like chemistry. I have like a whole system. So I have that, and then basically like I have all of those different assignments, and up until like last year I didn't I just put them like as all day events. But what I've started doing is I've literally started time blocking them, like when that assignment is like due or whatever. Like not obviously like specifically 5 minutes in class where I turned in like the entire period. So that way when I look at like my daily schedule, like I don't have like 3 million assignments that are like all day events and then like nothing on the actual day. But yeah, so I use my Google Calendar, and I basically put everything on there first, and then every week, like I was saying a couple minutes ago, every week it gets transferred over to my Notion, which is so helpful because that way like I really do know what's due that week or what's coming up that week, because I physically write it out every single week. So it kind of keeps me accountable. I'm not gonna lie. I love my Google Calendar. It's very colorful. People get a little intimidated while looking at it, but I have a system, I promise you. Another little tip for me to you, don't put your friends' birthdays straight onto Google Calendar. Go to your contacts and enter it there, because then it will put it there for every single year. So you don't have to like go and update it and make it like recurring every year, okay? So yeah, that's my little Notion and Google Calendar spiel. That's my entire planning system and basically my entire lifeline that I just explained to you. I am going to give you guys some tips on how to get started and make your own planning system. So yeah, first of all, figure out what like medium you want. Do you want it on paper? Do you want it online? A lot of people I know will go for online stuff now. I do have friends who still use paper planners, but it's just more convenient because you can have the apps on your phone, you can use the websites, and it's a little easier, you know. Something changes, which if you have teachers like I do, they change the due dates on you all the time. Start with something simple. I would definitely say like don't overcomplicate it. When I first started my Notion, it was one page. My entire Notion was one page. I'm not even joking. Like now I have so many different subpages and databases and like everything, and it looks very cute. I'm always like, oh yeah, let me just go add it to my Notion. It's great, guys. If you don't have a Notion, I have basically just sat here and talked about it for like what 20 minutes. If you're not convinced yet to go get a Notion, like I don't know what's gonna convince you. Yeah. Oh, and okay. There's always the question of do I watch tutorials or do I not watch tutorials? And what I would say is if you really have no idea what you want, how you want it structured, go watch a tutorial or don't let a tutorial influence you because then it's not really yours, right? So just make sure it works for you. And this is not just going for Notion. Like, I mean, like, there's millions of planning systems out there. Okay, and this is the most important one I would probably say. Build it and make sure it changes and evolves. Your life is not going to stay the same. Unfortunately, change is inevitable. That got really deep really quickly. But what I'm saying is that if change is inevitable, then the change of your planning system is also inevitable. My whole planning system changed, and obviously like I just said, like it's evolved so much. Like reevaluate, like if even if you don't see any like glaring holes or issues, like reevaluate every couple months, every year or something, and be like, does this still work for me? Do I still need something else? And people have said to me like, why are you taking this so seriously? It's literally not a big deal. But if you plan well and you organize well and you have a structure for what you want to do, things will get done faster. Like if you have a to-do list and you know what you have to do, you're not sitting around procrastinating, which you can still procrastinate even if you have a plan. I'm living proof of that. But it helps. You're not disorganized. You're not like kind of scrambling to figure out what you have to do and then doing it. You just have to do it. There's one last step, right? And for me, like planning is kind of therapeutic. I'm not gonna lie. If I get stressed, I'll just plan. That might just be me, but like when I feel like I'm in control of my life, I feel a lot better. So yeah, that's my entire spiel today about planning and organization. Like I said, I could talk about it forever. So I apologize if this episode was a little too yap heavy, but I genuinely it's so fun for me. Okay, and I wanted to mention this also before I get into the outro and everything. I'm having my wisdom tooth surgery this week, so there will not be another episode next week. I'm just gonna have to miss 1 week because I am dead scared. It's supposed to be kind of painful, and I am going all the way under, but I am not ready for the whole like discomfort thing, and I probably won't want to talk because 4 teeth coming out of my mouth. So yeah, there won't be another episode next week, but I hope that you guys will come back the week after for another episode, and I'm so glad you guys are here. And yeah, thanks for listening to today's episode of Paneer and Pancakes, where we explore the unique journey of a dual-cultured teen. Don't forget to subscribe and review us on Spotify and YouTube, and follow us on Instagram for updates and more content. Thanks for tuning in today, and I'll catch you in the next episode. Bye, guys! Oh my god. I turned off the recording and then I remembered what her name was. Her name was Periwinkle, right? Yeah, Tinkerbell's sister's name is Periwinkle. Guys, Tinkerbell trivia any day. I'm so good at Tinkerbell trivia. Okay, bye.